Sir.
Stop what you're doing to the children.
Sir, these experiments have led to the only real success we've had in controlling the protomolecule.
I wanted that to be true. I was grasping at straws.
We are on the verge of so much more.
We're torturing children. We're creating killing machines. And we're still light years away from even beginning to comprehend that.
What we are doing is hard. We have to be strong. And great men are strong. That's how they accomplish great things.
It's not up for debate. The experiment is over. Shut it down.
Well, hello and welcome back, guys. So, before I start reviewing the third episode of the third season of The Expanse, I want to talk about this little thing that some people mentioned in the comments to my review of episode 2, which is pretty much all about the introduction of Pastor Anna. Now, a few fans of the series did mention that the introduction of Anna, the way she was introduced, kind of slowed down the events of the episode. I did as well read similar comments on some articles online reviewing the episode last week, and I do partially agree, but then again, I didn't feel it all that much because simply I do realize the reason behind doing that. Taking a look back at season 2, Draper was introduced very early in the season during the events of Leviathan Wakes, even though in the books, in the novels, she's introduced on Caliban's war. The same does apply for Anna on season 3. She's introduced during the rest of the events of Caliban's war, even though in the books, she's introduced on Abaddon's Gate. So when you kind of think about it, what they're doing over here, what they try to do with the second season, and it kind of worked for them, and what they're trying to do with the third, is kind of introducing all those new characters while events are kind of spiking with a previous arc. Now that way, when they get to the next arc, when they get to Abaddon's Gate, when they got to Caliban's war on season 2, they had everything set up, and they were ready to get right into business. So instead of getting to episode 6 or 7 of the season and then completely slowing down, like boring kind of slowing down, what they do is they introduce Anna right now. You don't feel the difference all that much. You get to episode 6 or 7, the events of Abaddon's Gate start kicking in, and you've got them jumping right into events. They don't need to slow down, they don't need to get it down to a boring level, and that is what really matters over here. The writers, producers, and directors of The Expanse, the entire cast and crew pretty much actually, they seem to know what they're doing with all of this. So I kinda do trust them with working out this recipe. They've tried it before, it has succeeded, so yeah, we need to trust in them that this season is probably gonna be as great as season 2. The second episode of the season alone, the one that Anna was actually introduced on, it does stand to prove that these people know what they're doing. It does stand to prove that this is gonna be an awesome season. But without further ado, and in the spirit of not wasting any more time, let's get started reviewing episode 3 of this amazing season so far. So number 1, I really love the character of Draper. I mean, she is irritating with her lack of social skills and all of that good stuff, but it does happen to be an integral part of her character, and it just gets to grow on you. Her conflict with the Rocinante crew and right away and as she gets on board is kind of crazy. You cannot imagine someone who just got saved by these people would create so much conflict with them. The woman just knows how to alienate everyone who's on her side. I mean, she just got on board and she's being all bossy and all dominating, but then again, when you kind of think about it, that does fit the bill of her character since season 2. I mean, she was rebellious when it came to her superior officers in the Martian Navy. But number 2, I really love the conflict within Naomi. I mean, you can't just turn your back and pretend this war isn't happening. Between her choice to equip the belt with something as dangerous as the protomolecule, and her inner voice of reason and morality kind of falling back into place once again, the character of Naomi does seem to be going back to being as enriched as she was on previous seasons. But number 3, Errinwright suddenly has this change of heart and this change of stance, and he does want to end this war. The man just cares in a weird and twisted fashion. I mean, we do know that the man cares about Earth and the welfare of Earth, but he does act towards it in a very twisted fashion, between being war-hungry and hungry for power most of the time, and making the right decisions at other times when it matters the most and when the shit is about to hit the fan. But number 4, I do love the change with Jules Pierre. I mean, we know the man as a piece of shit, an evil piece of shit, that is. But all of a sudden, he does care a little bit. I mean, he's standing there looking at the kids, and I'm imagining he's imagining Julie, and he's watching them play together, and he does indicate to Dr. Strickland that he does enjoy watching them play together. But number 5, we get to see a proto-molecule infused Katua on the same scene. Now I could almost swear from what we're seeing that Katua will have a bigger role on the series, but I haven't read that far into the book, so I cannot promise anything right now, right here. So with my lack of knowledge on this front, I think this is just a prediction of mine. I might be wrong actually, but I do think Katua is going to be a big thing on the series. Maybe even they're going to do that thing where they kind of mix and match arcs. So if this arc is beyond what I've read, they might actually bring it forward and we might see it pretty soon. But number 6, the Agatha King and Admiral Southard to the rescue of Katjar and that one remaining crew member of Mao's ship. So we've got a lot of remorse in Katjar's eyes as he kills that guy, that crew member, but nonetheless he had his own reasons, and good reasons at that. He wanted to point all the fingers towards Sadavir Errinwright. He didn't want Admiral Wynn to get to figure out that Avasarala is still alive. Now, I'm not gonna rave about the loyalty that Avasarala kind of inspires in her own people, because I've raved about that last week, I've raved about that a week before, and it is pretty obvious. She kind of inspires that kind of loyalty. She is an amazing person. She just happens to be one of those rare balancing factors in this entire equation. Even though, number 7, she does discard the idea that the Rocinante should be heading to Io in order to save someone's kid. Now, while her words to discard the idea, the way she tells Holden that it is noble, does sound cold, does sound emotionless, we do all know that she isn't really emotionless. I mean, Avasarala does want the greater good. She wants to stop a war that will kill millions of people. But then we get this callback to the events of Season 1, when everyone was calling Jim Holden a terrorist, and she ended up going out of her way and meeting up with his mother. But in the very end, clean or not, Avasarala is just a politician, so she tries to use that meeting, tries to use everything she came to know out of that meeting towards playing Jim Holden into helping her stop this war, into helping her stop the possible mass destruction of the entire universe with the use of the proto-molecule. But number 8, we get another humanizing moment for Jules Pierre. We get to see him with May, and he's seeing his daughter, Julie, in May. Let's not forget as well that in a manner of speaking, his children, the remaining of his children, are being threatened back on Earth by Sadavir Errinwright. If you don't do my bidding, your kids are gonna suffer. But number 9, Anna gets to the Secretary General. Maybe this war was inevitable, but you want it to be holy, and it is not. The best he can hope for is that it is justified. Her talk is well about his need to sacrifice as few as possible people in order to be a good leader. That just leads him to talk about sacred duty and give in order to stand down. And suddenly, 82% are not good enough chances for him. So that kind of gives Anna a second purpose. She is there replacing Avasarala for the time being. She's the voice of reason, she's the voice of morality. So the reason she is right here, right now, is not just to introduce her prior to her major arc on Abaddon's Gate. The reason is a lot more. They are using her as some sort of plot device to advance certain storylines. It does as well all go to show you that in the absence of Avasarala from that war room, there's a lot that will go wrong. It gets kind of messy. And it will always need someone who is as clean of a politician as Avasarala, or someone who's as outspoken as Anna. Number 10. So my objection to Naomi giving that proto-molecule sample to Fred Johnson, that was never about giving it to the belt. You can never be against getting out and from under oppression. My problem has always been about giving them something that no one completely understands. It's something so dangerous at that. So I was pretty much excited when that conversation happened between her and Avasarala. I mean, Avasarala is a good gal. I really love her. But right here, right now, she's kind of preaching the wrong thing. The Earth has the proto-molecule, Mars has the proto-molecule, so why not the belt? I'm totally in agreement with Naomi on this one. The mutiny part is unacceptable. The part where she decided to go and give it to Fred Johnson without making sure that everyone else knows and everyone else agrees, that is unacceptable. The part where she gave Fred Johnson something that she does not completely understand, and no one completely understands for all that matter, including the people working directly on it, that is totally unacceptable. But number 11, the humanizing of Jules Pierre Mao does pay off by the end of the episode. So the collapsing of Katua does get Mao to be overridden with guilt, and accordingly he orders Strickland to shut down all experiments. It's all finally catching up to him, the death of his daughter Julie, everything that's going on with these kids, the fact that they remind him of Julie. It's all catching up to him, and he's making the right choice, he's doing the right thing, and with utter and absolute disregard for all the threats from Sadavir Errinwright. But number 12, whatever Pierre did is gonna be kinda screwed up a little bit because Admiral Wynn has a course plotted to Io. Now Admiral Wynn did as well show his true colors. He's working completely and utterly with Errinwright. But as of the end of the episode, we've got a good situation going on. We've got an Admiral Souther who got information out of Kotyar. He has as well been relieved of his command of the Agatha King. So pretty much Admiral Souther knows the truth, Admiral Souther respects Avasarala, and Admiral Souther is on Avasarala and Kotyar's side at the moment. But number 13, 2 million people dead in South America, and you could see the guilt on the faces of both Errinwright and the Secretary General. Now, I'm pretty sure you did hate the UNN Secretary General for his decision. I'm pretty sure as well you did hate the fact that 2 million people died as a result of that decision. But there will always be this one amazing thing about this scene, the fact that you hate Errinwright more than anyone in that room. Errinwright is the cause of this war, and the look of guilt on that scene on his face, that is pretty amazing, because this guy needs to feel a lot of emotional pain, and nothing does emotional pain more than a feeling of guilt. But even then, the a-hole that he is ends up playing games with Anna, mind games with Anna. The man is just relentless, and he's found someone to mess with. I mean, in the absence of Avasarala, Anna is pretty much an easy target. She is as well pretty green still. I mean, she's not as powerful, as much of a politician as Avasarala, so she's not as good and as powerful as both Avasarala and Errinwright in these mind games. And over here, that mind game scene between both of them comes to mind out of Season 2. But anyway, and without giving away any spoilers to non-book readers, there's a battle coming up over the next couple of episodes, and if it is done as good as last week's battle, it's gonna be amazing. So if you haven't read the books, or even if you did read the books, over the next couple of weeks, it's gonna be epic. I'm gonna love every single moment of those episodes. But that being said though, let me know in the comments if you did like this episode, let me know what you really liked about it. Let me know as well what are your expectations for said battle without dropping any spoilers in the comments, just in case some people are reading and they haven't read the books before. Let me know as well if you did like this video by dropping it a much appreciated like, and if that were to be the case, you can always subscribe and enable notifications for my future videos, community posts, and live streams. Until I see you next time though, thank you all for tuning in and have a great day.